The Royal Rumble this year, more than any other year, is feeling jam-packed with great competitors and a plethora of options for who could win the Rumble on both the men's and women's side of things. This is on top of a card that will be filled with plenty of other great matches. But that's why in today's episode of the 10 Count, we're going to be taking a look at 5 people I want to see win the Royal Rumble and 5 people that I don't want to see win the Royal Rumble this year. Be sure to like and subscribe and comment and stay up to date on all things Nitro Wrestling, and share this video with your friends. Without further ado, let's get into the 10 Count. Number 10, Want. Gunther. I would really love it if Gunther, as a current reigning IC champion on Raw, he's talked about it on several occasions. He would love to elevate the Intercontinental title to an even greater extent and challenge for a world championship as Intercontinental Champion, kind of a title for title situation like Seth Rollins did with John Cena back in 2015 at SummerSlam. I could imagine Gunther doing this, like versus Seth, is way more likely than versus Roman. Either match would be awesome, but I think it's pretty unlikely. Number 9, Don't Want. Becky Lynch. I know this might be a little surprising to some, but I think Becky winning the Rumble this year is not the way to go. I know a lot of people want to see Becky versus Rhea, and I think that is the match we're going to inevitably get at WrestleMania, but I think they're going to go a bit of a different route. I personally believe the Women's Chamber this year is going to be a number one contender match. I know a lot of people think Rhea might defend her title in the Chamber, and have like a big moment in her home country in the actual Elimination Chamber. I think that would be really cool. However, I do see her having a singles match as more of a likely possibility. Maybe her and Nia, if they don't have a singles match at the Rumble, because I could see Nia. I think she's already declared for the Women's Rumble. I'm not 100% sure on that. Someone fact check me on that in the comments. Either way, I think Becky winning the Elimination Chamber in Perth, and then she gets her number one contender shot. The man's back in town after her crisis of confidence against Nia, getting knocked out again. She's ready, and she stares down Rhea in her home country. But of course, Rhea obviously stands tall because it's in Australia. But that would be setting up that Mania match. Number 8, Want. Jade Cargill. Now, before you flame me in the comments, Jade Cargill hasn't even had a match yet, blah, 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 blah. We don't know if she's on Raw, SmackDown, NXT, wherever she is. I do think we're going to see her debut in the Rumble. I would want her to win it. I don't think she's going to win it. It would be cool if she did, but it's okay that she doesn't. I don't see somebody, like a single person eliminating her. I see her getting the Big Show treatment, even though she's, similar to like how Nia gets the Big Show treatment in the Women's Rumble. Everyone has to team up to eliminate her. I think that'll happen with Jade if she does debut. I don't think she'll win. But if she did, I would love to see her establish her dominance. Maybe like set the record for women's eliminations. I'm not sure who holds that right now. Think it might be Rhea from last year's Rumble. Again, fact check me on that. I do think if she'd win, she would fight Io for the title over Rhea. I'll talk about why I think that in a second. Number 7, Don't Want. Main event, Jey Uso. The Bloodline story is in what feels like an epilogue of all epilogues. Cody needs to finish his story this year, in my opinion. More on that in a bit. I don't think Jey Uso winning the Rumble is likely, but it wouldn't shock me, especially if they need to delay expectations, because it is very on the nose. If Cody wins the Rumble, then there's not much adversity there. So I could see them doing something with Cody losing the Rumble to one of his close friends in Jey Uso as like a shocking twist, and then maybe Jey Uso is convinced by Cody to put the title match at Mania on the line, say at Elimination Chamber in Australia. That's very unlikely, but it wouldn't surprise me. I do think Jay is going to do something completely different at Mania this year. I think it's going to be Jay Uso versus him, Jimmy Uso, in a Usos Civil War situation, which both brothers have talked about before, that they want to have a match against each other, and they think that a match against the two of them should be done at WrestleMania, and I agree 100%, and I think we're going to get it this year. Number 6, Want. About to backpedal like a crazy motherfucker here. CM Punk. I'm not going to fucking lie. I'm tired of Phil. I really am. I did not really ever see him coming back to WWE after the whole AEW firing went down. I thought he was going to stay away from wrestling forever again. But here we are, 2-ish months later, and he's probably going to win the Royal Rumble. And I wouldn't hate it if he did. It is something he has not done yet in the WWE. So it would be cool for him to add it to his list of accolades. I genuinely don't see him winning the world title because he obviously would challenge Punk. And I think Punk versus Rollins, main eventing night 1, in front of the Philly crowd is such an awesome idea. I don't think it main events if the title's involved, personally. So we'll have to see if that happens. I do think, though, that he's probably going to win the Rumble. And if he wins the Rumble, I think Seth's going to hold on to that title till Mania. And I think you have your Night 1 main event locked in right there. Number 5, halfway through the list here. Number 5 is Don't Want. I do not want Bianca Belair winning the Royal Rumble. I would hate to see Triple H completely rehash and do the same thing that they've been doing and having Bianca come out on top and then challenge Io at Mania. Io has been feuding with Damage Control since Damage Control's inception. That's kind of insane to think about, that Damage Control has only really feuded with one person. You could make the argument that other superstars have gotten involved here and there, but Bianca has been a constant throughout the Damage Control equation, if you will. I think Bianca is more likely going to do something with 2 other members of Damage Control at Mania. I think it's going to be Bianca and a tag partner, hopefully Bianca and Jade Cargill versus Asuka and Kairi Sane, while Io is busy with someone else who I will talk about shortly. Number 4, Want. Cody Rhodes. I mean, this is obvious. I don't have him higher on the list, mainly because I think it's set in stone. I really hope that it's set in stone that Cody Rhodes wins the Rumble again this year, except I think Cody's going to win it from the exact opposite spot from last year. I'd love it if he went bell to bell from number 1 spot and really struggled in the Rumble, but not like how Roman Reigns struggled back in 2016 and went and got taken out and rested up backstage. I would love it if he even had a standoff with Gunther, say halfway through, and he realizes, and he's like, oh shit, it's Gunther. It's the motherfucker that almost eliminated me when I got number 30 spot, and he was at the number 1 spot. I'm trying to do what he was doing last year. I do see Cody and CM Punk battling it out as the last 2, and although I have Cody at the top, I would put my money on Punk over Cody. I think Cody is going to have a double adversity year this year. Number 3, Don't Want. Damian Priest. Now, I don't hate Damian Priest. I don't hate the Judgment Day at all. I could see something happening, though, where Priest does win the Rumble and mishandles his opportunity and loses it in a match, and that leads to him being kicked out of the Judgment Day. This is mainly because I do believe the Judgment Day breakup is inevitable, but I don't think it's going to be necessarily a breakup. I see it more as of a situation where Damian Priest kind of gets kicked out for his own stupidity in a way, for trying to be the leader of Judgment Day when he should just kind of let Rhea handle business. If Rhea handles business and the rest of them follow Rhea's plan, yes, they're all booked very hapless and goofy a lot of the times when they're all together. They can't get shit done. But if they started listening to Rhea more, Rhea gets shit done in the women's division, maybe the rest of them would get shit done together. But I do not think Priest has a chance at winning the Rumble, but the Judgment Day seems to be loved not only by the fans, but also by Triple H in a creative sense. So to keep them involved, it wouldn't surprise me if they threw a surprise in there and Damian Priest snuck out with the Rumble win while also being Mr. Money in the Bank. Number 2, Want. This is my personal pick to win the Women's Rumble right here. This is Bayley, and I do believe Bayley's going to win the Rumble. They've been setting it up for the past couple of months now at this point. The split up of Bayley and the rest of Damage Control. I mean, if you haven't realized that yet, it's been plainly obvious. It's one of the more better stories, I think, just because of how obvious it is. Like, the through line is very clear. I think Bayley, she was doing everything she could to get Damage Control that W in the Women's Rumble. Sorry, the Women's War Game match back at Survivor Series. And then she inevitably ended up taking the pin. She wasn't on SmackDown the week after, and it was just so awkward. It's been awkward between them. When Kairi Sane and Asuka joined, it was like, oh, like it was inevitable once those two got involved. Like, it was inevitable that it was going to happen. And I think they're going to do a sort of recreation of the Batista Triple H moment from 2005 when Batista won the Rumble. Bayley comes out, and obviously this would be before Elimination Chamber, and Bayley comes out and she's talking and she's about to announce who she's challenging at Mania, and all of Damage Control's with her, and they're like, they've convinced her to go over to Raw, start. Like, we'll spread the Damage Control, from SmackDown to Raw. We'll do both brands, and they convince her, or they thought they convinced her, and then boom, she actually chooses Io, and she turns on them, and she starts pummeling Io, and obviously they would stand tall because there's 4 of them and 1 of her. But I think that would be super interesting, and it would lead to a great match between the 2 women at Mania. Number 1, Don't Want. I hate to end this on a sour note. I do. It's just the way I made the list, but I think this one's very obvious. I do not, nor do I think we need to see Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson anywhere near the Royal Rumble event this year, unless it's coming out after the match with Roman Reigns and LA Knight and Randy Orton and AJ Styles, and announcing that it's going to be him versus Roman at Elimination Chamber in Australia, which is totally a big enough event to do that match, because if you think about it, there's probably going to be comparable the amount of people at that venue to Mania. I don't know how big the Mania venue is. I don't know how big the Eagles Stadium is. I don't know how big the Perth stadium is, but I did see a picture of it. It looks pretty huge, so it looks like they'll fit a lot of people in there. And if I remembering this correctly, the USFL and XFL combined league, the UFL, I think that's what it's called. The UFL is going to be starting up in March or something like that, but Mania is at the start of April, right? So why Rock's going to be busy at the start of April because he's going to probably be at the games for his league. So in order to promote this UFL thing, that's fine. He didn't want to do business last year because he wanted to win and he wanted to change the hierarchy of the DC Universe as the WWE Universal Champion, which was fucking nonsense. But now he's fine with doing business because he's going to promote his new UFL. I think he's going to have his match before the UFL starts, and I think it's going to be at Elimination Chamber in Perth, and I think it's just going to be another notch that's added to Roman's legacy before Cody nicks him at WrestleMania 40, and this is mainly due to the fact that I don't think he's beating Hogan's record at all, but you gotta give him something to appease Roman. I think Roman's fine with dropping the belt to Cody at Mania, as long as he gets something in return for not getting to beat Hogan's 1,500-day record, which isn't really a record to break. It's just another reign that he's surpassing. So it's not a record. A record is Bruno Sammartino's record of holding the title for the longest consecutive time of like 8 years or whatever the fuck that was. With that being said, Cody is much more deserving of winning the Rumble this year. Hell, CM Punk is much more deserving of winning the Rumble this year than Dwayne. Dwayne doesn't really even need to have any matches to just want to fight Roman. He could just kind of show up and say that he wants a match, and he can get it. Which is all the more scary reason that I think, Cody may not even have this match. Who knows? Let me know who you guys want to see win the Royal Rumble this year. Do you like my options? Do you hate my options? I did a little bit of fantasy booking during these picks as well. I know people hate fantasy booking. Fantasy's supposed to be fun. That is a direct quote from Going in Raw. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought about it down below. And yeah, I hope everyone enjoys the Royal Rumble this year. I think it's going to be a great event. I'll see you guys in the next video.